We're going back to our ongoing series this week, War in Iran, Reactions Across Generations. Each night, Americans from different generations are sharing how this moment is hitting them and what they're worried about, and what, if anything, may give them hope. Tonight, we're turning to Generation X. I will tell you one thing this whole week, I'm learning a lot more about the generations. This is the MTV generation, the latchkey generation, sometimes called the forgotten generation. They're sandwiched between boomers and millennials. They grew up before the internet, social media, smartphones, coming of age at a time when divorce rates were rising, two-income households were becoming the norm, the Cold War still hung over daily life, and many were young adults when 9/11 happened. And then they watched the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan shape U.S. policy in the Middle East for the next 2 decades. And the result is a generation that is often described as deeply skeptical, but also highly self-reliant and resilient. You know, Gen Xers, they're born roughly between 1965 and 1980. They're now mostly in their 40s and 50s. And the studies show they're currently the most stressed generation in America. I mean, right now, they're struggling. You know, they're juggling retirement savings, college tuition for their kids, what global conflict could mean for the economy. In fact, experts say Gen X may be especially exposed to the economic ripple effects of war because many rely on 401ks and IRA savings, which can be sensitive to market volatility. So here's the thing. You might expect, after me saying all this, that they're going to be the most skeptical of a new conflict, right? You have this new NPR PBS News Marist poll suggests something very complicated. It found about 40% of Gen X approve of how the war in Iran is being handled. The highest level of any approval of any generation, although it's still far from a majority, but interesting nonetheless. So tonight, we wanted to hear directly from them. Okay, joined now by Megan Schwalm, a 46-year-old mom of 4 who runs a nonprofit in Nashville, Tennessee. Carla Shaw, a 51-year-old mom and senior program manager in Chicago. And Kim Mosher, a 58-year-old mom of 3 who works as a therapeutic specialist also in Chicago. Great to have all of you here. Thanks for taking the time. Megan, I'll start with you. What went through your head when you first heard about the U.S. military's actions against Iran? I mean, were you even thinking about Iran?
Yeah, no, I mean, my first thoughts were really about the human costs, civilians and children caught in the middle of conflict that they didn't create. And here at home, I worry about how moments like this can fuel more division and discrimination. We're already seeing rising hate in recent years, and it's important that fear doesn't turn into hostility towards our neighbors. And as a Gen Xer, hearing about another war immediately brings back memories of 9/11 and the Iraq War. And we've seen how long and painful these conflicts can become. And at the same time, we're still facing serious challenges here at home. And in many ways, this feels like a diversion from what's really going on here.
Yeah, and look, the administration is trying to separate this from what happened back in the day. But Carla, look, Gen X, I said it at the beginning, you just heard it from Megan, the end of the Cold War, 9/11, 2 decades of war in the Middle East, a financial crisis, a pandemic, one after the other. When you see another major global conflict, what perspective does that give you? And also, do you look at it differently? Do you say, look, the Iranian regime feels different. It feels like a different kind of enemy that maybe we needed to address?
Well, how I feel about this is the impact on the economy altogether. You think about there were job losses last month, like 92,000. There's billions of dollars being spent on this war. So to me, this is a real impact on the economy right now. And yes, the Iran war can feel different, but look at the gas prices that are going to be going up. What about food, transportation, anything that can affect us? I just don't agree with a lot of things.
Just to follow up on that, do you feel any way safer? I mentioned this last night when I was talking to millennials that, you know, we always looked at North Korea, China, Russia, Iran as these kind of bad actors, these concerns for the future for us and our kids. If you're talking about a war that might dismantle this entire regime, and perhaps we can fully dismantle it, do you feel safer for you and your family?
Mm-mm.
Oh, Carla, that was to you.
That was about me. No, yeah. I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. And I want to go to you, Kim. I mean, feel free to jump on that too. But I mean, let's go to this poll that I mentioned. 40% of Gen Xers approve of how the war in Iran is being handled. I don't know if you are part of that, if you believe that. It's not a majority, but it's the highest of all generations. Why? I mean, do you agree with that in your perspective? And why do you think your generation may view this moment a little differently than the other generations I've been speaking to?
I'm quite surprised that the number is that high, that the percentage is that high. Raising Gen Z daughters during this time who are very aware of what's going on in this world because of social media. It's a real concerning time as a parent. They're getting information real time. Some of it might not be true. And we talk about it. My oldest, who's 27, actually told us that we went to war with Iran before we knew it. And I didn't grow up that way. I'm happy that they're tuned into world events, but it creates a lot of anxiety for them.
Yeah. And I've said it before, and I'll get into this a little bit more. I mean, they're not only getting all this information so quickly in such a rapid fashion, but with the advent of AI, trying to sort out what's real and what's fake is so tough. Megan, over to you. You mentioned it before. You raised concerns about something we've seen during past conflicts, this backlash, this discrimination against communities. What's your biggest concern?
Well, I'm really concerned that during times of international conflict, we sometimes see an increase in hate or discrimination towards people here in the United States who have nothing to do with the conflict. Over the past several years, we've already seen rising levels of hate and division in our country. And I fear that in moments like this, it can intensify discrimination, especially towards Black and Brown communities, including people who are Muslim or from the Middle East. Here in my state of Tennessee, we've also already seen some really hateful rhetoric coming from legislators in our own state, and that really fuels fans the flames instead of calming fears.
Carla, something to be thinking about as we're having this conversation is the baby boomers are retiring, which means your generation is going to be in the leadership positions moving forward. How do you think they're going to approach these conflicts, these wars differently?
Well, from what I see is that we approach stuff differently anyway. And we have to look at, we are the Gen X generation. Our leadership is going to be totally different. We're going to take in consideration the things and consequences because, one, we need to understand what's going on. We can't just jump into something without knowing what's going on. So my thing is I'm approaching leadership differently. And I want to study what I'm doing and understand what I'm doing before I arrive to a decision.
Kimbo, I just want to give you 30 seconds. What do you talk to? What do you tell your kids? You talked about your kids. What do you tell them?
You have to look at it from all sides and make an educated decision. And I think that is the beauty of social media, is that they do have the news in front of them. And yes, some of it may be AI, some of it may not be true, but they're talking about it with us. They're checking in with us. And they're very empathetic. I have 3 girls who are very concerned about the state of affairs right now.
Well, listen, Megan Schwalm, Carla Shaw, Kim Mosher, I really appreciate you giving time and kind of giving perspective on what your generation might be thinking. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.